So today I want to talk to you about some of the smart contracts similar to like proof of weak hands. First, let me just explain just the basis in case you're new to crypto or you're new to smart contracts or whatnot. How do they work? Essentially, a smart contract is a code written on the blockchain. So you can go and you can view the contract. There's guys online that have, for example, there's at least one guy that has broke down the entire proof of weak hands 3D. He's a developer. He explained the code. So keep in mind that it's decentralized software that's stored on the contract. When you see on the blockchain, when you see this web face, this is just a user interface. However, you can go directly to Etherscan and you can deal directly with the blockchain. Admittedly, it's not as user friendly. That's why they create these websites. But it's important to understand that this is not what we're going to be covering today. Even though I'm going to be showing you websites, every one of these projects, to my knowledge, are 100% smart contracts, and I believe they've all been vetted by third-party sources, but don't quote me on that. I know Proof of Weak Hands has, P3D. So the idea behind, there's something going on. Proof of Weak Hands 3D is the first smart contract DApp, decentralized application, that was designed to work in such a way, the way that it does. And basically the way that Proof of Weak Hands work is you buy the Proof of Weak Hands token through the website or through the blockchain, either one, and you can hold on to it, and as other people buy in, it goes up in value just like any other cryptocurrency or similar to any cryptocurrency, and as people sell, it will go down in value similar to any other cryptocurrency. And of course, you can make a profit and sell out if you want, just like any other cryptocurrency. The difference is when you buy or you sell this particular token. Now stay with me, because I'm gonna make some comparisons for you in a moment. When you buy or sell this particular token, you're charged a 10% fee. Now that 10% fee goes to the exchange, but who's the exchange since there's not a third-party source? This isn't like Bitfinex or something like that. Or you don't got to worry about someone like Mt. Gox running away with your money. There's no company that's the exchange. The exchange is the blockchain itself. So where does the 10% fee go to? It goes to all other token holders. It's like a reward that goes to all other, and it's spread out based off of, you get a larger percentage, or you get more of the fee based on how many tokens you have. Every token in the ecosystem earns a percentage. Now, this is catching on. I mean, I think Ethereum right now is currently just under $200, I believe. And just to show you how big this is, so I did this by balance, the total amount of Ethereum currently on in the contract on the blockchain. Now this right here is a decentralized actual cryptocurrency exchange. This is Proof of Weak Hands 3D. They're calling this high risk. All these are risky, by the way, but they're calling this high risk. I don't know how they classify that. At one point they had it classified as a game. I think another time they might have had it classified as gambling. I don't know. But nonetheless, there's 38,000 Ethereum. So multiply that by 200. I think that's what? 1, 2, is that 1.6 million or 16 million, I think? I don't know. It's a lot of Ethereum in the contract in USD value. So it's the second highest. So this is a big deal. There's a huge community here. And I've discussed on this channel why I think that is. I believe long term there's a lot of use cases with this sort of technology, and I've talked about how it could be used for community funding, for crowd funding, for company funding. I've talked about how it could be used for insurance type purposes, the whole 9 yards, if they get serious about development of this. Right now they've added games. They're unique games that are designed to play on the cryptocurrency, FOMO long or Exit Scam or whatever. There's all these games they've got that tie into the contract. Now the way the games work, this is important. So the way the games work is basically when people play the games, the games are gambling in nature. But as people play the games, just to keep it simple, a percentage of the earnings, or practically almost all the earnings from the game, goes to all these token holders. So they're totally separate. The games are totally separate. But people play the games, they use Ethereum. They use that Ethereum from the game to go into the P3D contract. So basically you earn more rewards because the games exist. Now, here's the challenge. There's a lot of different, there's several more of these out there. There's one, I've talked about this one on my channel before, Lynia. And Lynia is interesting. Let's see. That's not it. This is more of a traditional gambling game, and I think this runs into problems. Now, I will tell you, there are games out there, Eat the Roll and stuff like that, and I actually think these smart contract gambling games are probably going to be more the future of the gambling space. But long term, this isn't great for crypto, in my personal opinion. And I have some experience that I'll share with you on why that is. That I actually used to advertise and market in this space years ago when the internet was practically brand new, and I'll tell you some of the challenges that I ran into. So this is, more traditional gaming. They have, fair play. It's fair because it's on the smart contract. New games, big profit sharing. So basically 50% of the house edge goes to token holders. The 50%, I guess, goes to Lynia. I don't know. Their games, classic dice game. Basically, it's 1%. You can call it a coin flip, 1% edge or whatever. They don't know what this is. They'll be talking about it in 55% complete roulette, 5% complete. So they're taking a much more of a 10,000 Lynia player versus player jackpot. I guess that's coming from here. Again, this is more of a gambling approach. There's nothing innovative, and I think this is very short-sighted. If you've ever looked at like Eat the Roll and some of those things, there's just not. They're so far from getting any sort of really big mass attention. I mean, so big. Now, granted, I don't mean there's not a chance to make profit or whatever, but just long term, I think this is going to have a shelf life if it ever launches. I think this one only has a few hundred Ethereum in contract. There's another one, it's pretty new out. It's Daily Divs. By the way, I have made investments in both of these just to kind of watch how they work, small investments. I don't promote them. I don't promote any of them as far as from an affiliate masternode standpoint, because I just think there's going to be compliance issues down the road with these, and I don't necessarily recommend that anyone quote unquote play them. So with Daily Divs, it's a little bit different. They got this earn game. That's, listen, absolute. These things are going to be just, I don't think compliance wise, I don't think either one of these are very good. Now, what makes them good and what makes them different from every other thing that you've ever seen out there that promised a return of some sort is, I don't think any of them are outright promising a return. However, they're on the blockchain. You can see the code. It's not sneaky. There's no quote-unquote scam. Like, you can see the code as long as the code is solid. And I don't know how to be a developer. I just read other people's positions and I go with it. But like these here, if I understand them right, you basically buy in a position and you don't get your original buy back, but you get back a percentage. You still end up getting it back through volatility in the contract, is my understanding. It's just a different, fun way to pay it back, is my understanding. Don't quote me on that. They have an exchange game, which this works similar to the way P3D does. All of them have this aspect, and that is you buy in and they charge you or whatnot. This one, they have what, a little over 1,000 Ethereum in the contract. So this one's called on a little bit more, and there's basically, but here's the fees on this one. You lose 20% going in. No, 5% going. Sorry, I got that wrong. I think it's 20% buy tax, 5%. So it's 25%, I guess, going in. And then when you sell, I think it's 20% to sell. So it's 25 both ways. Don't think that's amazing at all. I think that's crazy high. But they're saying, yes, but that's not the only place you're making money. They've got this lottery game. They got this game here. I mean, I think those... long term, I don't think this is going to work. I mean, I think we'll wait and see. I could be proven wrong, but I don't think this is going to work. And again, they're just sticking to this more traditional gaming route. I hope P3D does not do that. I mean, they've yet to create a game that was a traditional game, and if they do, so be it. But right now, their two games are innovative. They're new. And that's kind of cool, but I want to see them continue to move out of the actual gaming space, at least from a gambling aspect. Now, if they create a game where you can, you purchase the game, or you use, the token or Ethereum to buy stuff in the game, like a lot of the quote-unquote free games that are out there. For example, think about your Android games and, games on Amazon and stuff like that, where you actually have to make in-game purchases. That would be much better than just a quote-unquote gambling game of chance. And the reason is just because of various jurisdictions, the U.S. and others, they're not exactly black and white on this, and it's a very dark gray area. And let me just share some experience with you. Years ago, when I started advertising and marketing, personally starting businesses online, one of the very first businesses that I attempted to do was working as an affiliate for the online gaming industry. I don't have a problem with gaming personally, but I did know that it was a bit of a gray area, and that at the time, now we're talking about early 2000s, I consulted with a lawyer just to make sure I wasn't doing anything wrong or whatever, and he got back to me and he said, he gave me a very long explanation, and basically what he said was, you know, these laws are not cut and dry, but historically, you know, when there's ever been some sort of a, you know, if you've been in front of a judge or jury or whatever, or regulators are the biggest ones really, they tend to steer against gaming in a casino gambling sense. And I said, so, you know, what would be your bottom line advice? And he said, well, my bottom line advice is you're not doing anything illegal yet based off of the laws. However, I would proceed with caution because, you know, you can make an argument that it's not illegal not to pay your taxes, but you're still going to pay your taxes. And that's exactly what he said. He said, so therefore, you know, proceed with caution in the gambling sense. And he told me to keep it online, stay offline, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I can tell you that since then, more laws have came out, and I wouldn't even go down that route now because the laws tend to be much more clear. There's a lot of individual jurisdictions, like in the U.S., there's only 1 or 2 states that outright by law allow online gaming. Most of the other states admit it, and there's 6, 7, or 8 states that say point blank, no, you can't do it. The federal government, I don't think, has said one way or another. Well, I know they haven't actually said one way or another, but they make it very difficult for you to actually put money into any sort of game. There's a lot of banking regulations where they won't allow banks to fund certain offshore casinos, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this isn't an offshore casino. People want to say it's on a blockchain, it can't get shut down, blah, blah, blah. Look, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law. The reality is, if you're promoting this, could you potentially get into hot water someday? I think the answer is, until regulations come out that are friendly to this space, the answer to that is potentially yes. The other thing is this: if you know, people say, yeah, they can't shut down the website's just a user interface, they can't shut down the blockchain. That's correct. But they can go after the website, they can take websites offline. All they have to do is dry up the Ethereum in the contract. They just have to make it difficult for people to use. All they have to do is kill the volume. Once they kill the volume, once people pull the Ethereum out of the contract, then they've essentially killed the contract, at least, you know, for most practical reasons. And will they go that far? I don't know. I don't necessarily think so, no time soon. But I think that being in the crypto space, you know, there are challenges like, you know, right over here, you know, is this, they're calling it a lottery game. Are they going to have to run into issues with various jurisdictions across the world about decentralized or unregulated lotteries? Yes, but it's decentralized. They can't stop it. Again, they don't have to stop it. All they have to do is stop the volume from going in. Slow it down drastically. That's all they have to do. So my favorite by far is POWH3D so far, and it's only because they definitely are the most innovative. They're the original. They're the most innovative. So I'm watching to see what they continue to develop. I love this project. I've talked about it ad nauseum on my channel. These other projects, I put some Ethereum in them, but it's just to kind of watch what happens, how the contracts work. Do the contracts hold up under scrutiny, et cetera, et cetera? You know, can you potentially make money? Yes, if the contract goes up, sure you can. They charge very, very steep fees. I actually think someone should be charging like a 5% in, 5% out fee. I think that would create much more volatility going up and down in the contract. However, what I do like is that people are continuing to attempt to innovate in this space. And just because one of these platforms is strictly a gaming platform now doesn't mean that it couldn't develop into something in the future. Now, they've shown practically no sign of fresh development. So that's where I'm like, I don't know if one of these two are going to do it. I just don't know. They're still going the gaming route. Now, POWH3D is talking about the Solar Fork project. Not sure what that is. They've just hinted at there's another project coming. They've got another game coming called DIDE, D-I-3D. And I don't know what that's going to be about. We'll have to wait and see. So they've got real development going on, like real development. And so by far, this is my major, smart contract Dapps space. And you can just take a look over here at the others, by the way. Let's pull up at the balance. If you just come to balance, POWH3D, by the way, this is one of the games for P3D. So even their game is showing up here. Is that there's another gambling contract? Let's keep going. I'm just trying to see. Here's Daily Dibs. So this is this platform right here. They're down to number 12. They only have 1,000 Ethereum. And if you keep going, let's see. Here's Lynia. It's down to 62. Only got 187 Ethereum in the contract. And there's others. Again, I'm not really investing like, I mean, if I told you how much, it's laughable, but it's more about just kind of watching what happens over anything else. That's really kind of my goal. And see if any of them develops into anything. Proof of Weekends 3D, this is the one that, I mean, they've had as much as, what, 78 or 79,000 Ethereum in the contract before. That's a lot of volatility long term. Now the question is, can they do something to create Ethereum coming in the contract far more regularly? And by the way, they also have they already have an API out, ETHHorse, which may be up here. I don't know if it is or not. Let's see. Nope, no, see. Let's see if I can search. Yeah, here it is. ETHHorse at 73. So ETHHorse has a whopping 11 in the volume. But one of the things that ETHHorse does is part of the profit this contract makes, they use part of their profit to buy more P3D tokens. And so as an organization, they're literally using P3D as with part of their funding and part of paying their clients, etc. So that's fascinating, that sort of development, and it'd be interesting to see if there's more APIs that use P3D down the road. Here's the other thing: no matter what P3D comes out with, when you look at the balance, let's get this off. No matter what game comes out, no matter what use case comes out, and hopefully they come out with some more strong use cases, this right here shows you there's already a ton of people paying attention. This is a huge community. So right now I think they have the best shot at making something succeed as long as they continue to develop and innovate, and that remains to be seen. This space is crazy. There's one YouTuber that says it's a jungle out there, and he's not kidding. So if you're in this space investing, don't take my channel for investment advice, but I will tell you, proceed with caution. Be careful, do your own research. None of these, crypto period should not be the biggest part of your investment, in my opinion. And none of these spaces should be the biggest part of your crypto portfolio, in my opinion. And by the way, crypto's in a bear market right now. All of these could potentially lose money just because we're in a bear market. And how much lower is Ethereum going to go? There's some people saying that it's going to go below 100. We'll have to wait and see. While I'm here though, I still have this tab open. I'm going to make a Moon Bitcoin, my faucet. Not my faucet, but I use this often. Make a quick claim. By the way, made another crypto tab browser withdrawal today of 100,000 Satoshi. I counted, it took 13 days, by the way, I think, for me to get that. So just under $10,000 a day, confirmed, right here. In fact, I'll show you. Is it here? Yep, withdrawal. So on the 28th of August was my last withdrawal, and if I did the math right, wow, this already went through. I didn't even check to see that. That's crazy. I just did that today. It's processed within just 4 or 5 hours. It's 1 o'clock now. I did that this morning, probably about 8:30. So that's probably one of the fastest ones I've gotten. So that's phenomenal. That's super quick. So within about 13 days. So we'll probably continue to see that time pick up as I continue to advertise for more affiliates. But nonetheless, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know your thoughts. Are you in the smart contract space? Do you have questions about the smart contract space? Do you understand it? Give me your thoughts. What's your favorite project right now in this space? Please don't include a link. I don't put my own links for smart contracts, and I will delete yours if you put a link for a smart contract. So please don't do that. But just let's make it an open discussion. What smart contracts do you like? Are you in the space? What are your thoughts on anything that you said in this video? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see the discussion taking place, and I love seeing people talk about cryptocurrencies. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up icon if you like this video. If you don't, hit thumbs down. But please leave me a comment below. Thank you so much for watching.